right, happy Tuesday. My favorite subject, algebra. We're going to check just a couple of the problems that you worked on yesterday. We're going to move on to our multiplication and division with integers, and then we're going to jump into our pre-algebra 6th grade standards. So 2 plus 4 is just like a regular old number. But if we have 4 and we subtract 2, we know how to do that. All right, we're going to start at -2, and we're going to go what direction if we're adding a -4? Left. 1, 2, 3, 4. -6. If I start at -4 and I subtract 2, left. -6. Remember, I owe 2 and now I owe 4. Together I owe 6. I owe 4 and then I owe 2 more. Together I owe 6. All right, last one we're going to go over today. I'm going to start at 2. If I'm subtracting or adding a -4, what direction do I go? Left. So we're going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I'm at 4 and I'm going to undo a debt of $2, the opposite of owing $2. Yep, the opposite of owing debt is not owing debt. 4 plus 2 is 6. All right, we're going to pause here. So get out your lessons for today. And we're going to see where we are. So our standard that we worked on last time was I can identify positive and negative numbers and their opposites and put them on a number line. And then I can perform operations with integers, adding, subtracting. We're going to work on multiplying and dividing today. And then we're going to move into our pre-algebra 6th grade standards. And this is what we're focusing on. I can write decimals as a fraction, including a mixed fraction, and then reduce it. And this is building off of a 5th grade standard of turning decimals into tenths and hundredths. But 6th grade, you're expected to move into thousandths. So we're going to start with our spiral review. We're going to go over lesson 21. And then, of course, you're invited to log into Khan Academy and do some practice online. All right, so hopefully yesterday you completed the rest of lesson 2.1, and we're going to move on and look a little bit at 2.2. And we talked about this in our guided notes yesterday. We talked about how if you multiply like signs, it's positive. So these were positive times a positive, and negative times a negative. Then the answer is positive. Then we talked about how if you multiply unlike signs, your answer is negative. And it's the same thing with division. So if you divide like signs, your answer is positive. If you divide unlike signs, remember fractions are just division, your answer is negative. We talked about how because you are undoing a debt, you're undoing someone's debt. You're undoing someone's debt. All right, here we go. We're going to practice just a couple of these, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. So a positive times a positive, same sign. 4 times 3 is 12. All right. Negative times a positive, different signs, which means our answer is going to be negative. 5 times 7 is 35. All right. Positive times negative. Negative. 9 times 4 is 36. All right, we're going to jump and do one that's a little bit harder. Let's find one. Oh, I love it right here. -7 times 1. So I want you to think, what's 7 times 1? 7. And we're going to have a negative. We're undoing owing, which means if I don't owe them anymore, it's like I get $7 extra. So when I undo it, it is positive. All right, go ahead and stop the tape here and do the next 6 problems for your warm-up today, and we'll go over a couple of those tomorrow. All right, I'm assuming you are ready to go. You're on decimals for fractions. This is Tuesday, and we're going to practice writing them as a fraction. So I'm going to get out my notes, and you can take your guided notes with me just like you always do on a scratch piece of paper, or you can do it on the back of your packet because I know there's some blank paper. You know me, I don't like to waste. So I can make a fraction and turn it into a decimal. And this, we said, was building off of our standard from 5th grade. So we have a couple of different ones that we are working on. Oh, I'm going fraction to decimal. I need to be going decimal to fraction. All right, so here's our first 3 examples, and these are our guided notes. We know that when we look at our fractions, so let's go ahead and do our decimals, fractions, same thing. We're going to go ahead and look at our place value chart. So this is your whole number. And then don't forget your decimal. Our first place value is called a tenth. Our second one is called what? Hopefully you said hundredth. And our third one is called a thousandth. All right, so all we need to do is write these as a fraction and then reduce it if we need to reduce. So here we go. 2, it only has one place value, which means it is a tenth. Now, don't forget your magic numbers. Just because we're in algebra, we're not doing fractions, because we are. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. So what can I divide both of my numbers by? 2. 1/5. So 2 tenths is the same or equivalent to 1/5. All right, now we get a little bit harder when we get into numbers with more place values. So this one has 2 place values. So the second place value is hundredths, 5 hundredths. Can I reduce? Nope. Five divided by 5 is 1. 100 divided by 5 is 20. All right? 1, 2, 3 place values. 1, 2, 3 place values. 7 thousandths. Can't divide by 2, can't divide by 3, can't divide by 5, can't divide by 7, can't divide bottom by top. Done. All right, so where you get a little bit harder is when you get numbers like oh, 0.402. 1, 2, 3 place values, thousandths. Now, I don't know all my factors of 402 and 1,000, but I do know they both end in even numbers, and every even number is automatically divisible by 2. So cut 400 in half, cut 2 in half, cut 1,000 in half, and you're done. All right, now I know this is pretty much just building on what you already did in 5th grade, but I do want to let you know this is going to connect to a whole nother unit that we're going to do, and that unit is on ratios and proportions, and it's all the math that you do when you go to a store and you see that something is 50% off, or if you go to a restaurant and you need to give 20% tip. That's the same thing, and all these skills that we're working on are going to be preparing you for those everyday events. All right, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 problems to do for today. Please make sure you write the fraction and then also reduce. And I will see you tomorrow. That's it for Algebra today. You guys have a great afternoon.